Hello again painters, it's Debbie from acrylicpouring.com. Extremely frustrated and still trying to find that magic painting formula. So today I've gone back to Apple Barrel craft paints. I'm thinking, okay, it doesn't work with these other brands, it didn't work with the Artist Loft. Is it going to work if I go back to the Apple Barrel? So I have got Petunia Purple, Lime Tree and Fuchsia. And I've mixed each of these up. Let's have a look. Just with the gloss pouring medium, no water needed, just the medium, and then some alcohol in each. And then I have a white. This is my usual Blick Student Acrylics Titanium White, which I've mixed with Floetrol, so it doesn't have the pouring medium, it just has the Floetrol. And I've also added 3 drops of silicone oil. So let's see what happens. Here's an old canvas. Nothing will be lost if things don't work out. So I'm going to layer the paints. This one is the titanium white mixed with Floetrol, a little bit of alcohol, and 3 drops of the treadmill oil. And then, let's see, so the pink, this is going to be very kind of spring colours, I think. There's the pink. Then our kind of limey green, it's going to look a bit like an Easter basket. And then this kind of petunia purple, that goes in, then goes back in our white, which has that Floetrol and silicone. I'm going to scrape that all out, use the lot, because every time I'm doing these experiments to come up with the best recipe, I'm always making sure that I'm mixing completely fresh paints every time, so there's never any mistake about what's included. I'm always mixing them fresh, because I am determined. Well, at some point, if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to give up, because you know, it's getting a bit beyond me, the science of all this and exactly why some paints work and some don't. But I would really like to get to the bottom of it and get a formula which I know is going to work for me every time, that I don't have to add a whole ton of silicone to all of my paints, so that it's, you know, such a nuisance to clean off the painting afterwards. And also I'd like to avoid using the torch and just, you know, get this fabulous result straight out the cup. Last one in is the green. I haven't got a whole bunch of paint this time because I'm not expecting a lot of success. I'm fingers crossed that I might, but I'm not expecting it, seeing it hasn't worked in the past. Okay, so there we go. Not much paint for such a big canvas. I wonder whether I should change that up and just work on a tile. No, let's do it anyway. I can always wipe it off if I don't like it. So let's go back, let's flip it again. And I can see, oh, now that's interesting. I can see through the clear side of the cup, and I do have a few cells in there. But whether it will translate out onto the canvas, I don't know. Again, I don't have much paint, so I'm just going to leave that to settle for a couple of minutes. Whoops, I'm knocking things everywhere. And then I'll come and lift up. Okay, let's lift it, see what happens. Whoops, it's stuck. Yikes, yeah, those colours were a little bit bright, aren't they? Oh dear, I never did have the best sense when it came to picking colours. So let's make sure that I get everything out of this cup. So what's happening on my canvas? I do have some cells. It's not the same explosion of cells that I got with those coffee and chocolate coloured paints though. Even though this time, I think I'm using exactly the same. I'm using the same pouring medium, I'm using the same Floetrol, I've got a little bit of silicone in there, which I probably had too. But I'm not getting the same explosion of cells. So, it's a mystery. I think I may almost be beaten as to what's going on here. Let's zoom in and take a look. You can see I've got, I'm going to wait for it to focus. See, I've got some cells come through, but not the same explosion that I had with that coffee coloured paint. So anyway, let's move them about, let's see what happens. A little bit more space to move. Okay, paints, show me what you can do. The cells are all certainly staying in place, things aren't breaking up, so you know, it looks good. Just not the same explosion of cells that I had with that other colour combo. Interesting. It really surely can't come down to the colours that you use. I wouldn't have thought, you know, that some colours work and some colours don't, that some colour combinations will give you greater cells than other colour combinations. That would seem crazy. But maybe it is to do with the a bit more to do with the density of the paint than we're thinking, you know, because the different colours would have different densities to them. So, you know, there would be some colours that are heavier or more pigment dense than others, and maybe it really does come down to more of that than we think. I'm really stretching this out now to get it to cover the canvas. I really didn't have enough. Anyway, get all those done. It's good. So, with that as it is, and now that it does have a little bit of silicone in, maybe I should just stick a torch over it and see what happens, because I've tried everything else. So I know the object of the experiment was to try and get cells without a torch, but seeing it's got silicone in it, let's see. Yep, really nothing. There's, you know, 3 drops of silicone in the whole thing, not enough for anything really creative to have happened there in the terms of any cells. So I'm a little bit stumped. I may have to go back to completely the drawing board and try and work it out, because I've got 2 examples. This one and this one, great cells, did exactly the same, but just used different colours. And these give great cells straight out the cup. I don't have to do anything. And then if I switch up different paint brands, even if I use the same paint brand but different colours, I don't get cells. And I'm absolutely fascinated as to why that should be. So anyway, it's another painting. You've followed along with me as I carried out some of these experiments, and I hope it gives you some inspiration to try out some of these experiments with your own paints at home and just see what exactly works for you, what doesn't, and try and work out why. I'd really love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.